Hi guys, and welcome back to Questions with Connie on another movie review Monday. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the movie Abigail. I did go and see it and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to give you guys my honest review on exactly what I thought about it and whether or not I think you should see it. So let's get into that. So I rated Abigail a solid 8 out of 10. And I thought it was just a great ride start to finish, and I'm going to go into all of my little things that I do as far as the things that I rate a movie on, so that way you can kind of have an idea of exactly how I arrived at my rating. So Alisha Weir is the little girl who plays the main character Abigail, and let me just start off by saying that her performance was stellar, outstanding. For someone so young to be so great at acting, I mean, bravo. She is amazing. I am excited to see anything else that she does in the horror genre because she is just such a great actress, and I just thought she blew it out of the water with this one. I thought her performance definitely outshined all of the adults in the movie. No offense to them, but she definitely stole the show. There was such a great amount of dark humor in this movie, which I think was definitely to be expected. I don't really feel like this was a, complete full-on horror movie for me. I definitely feel like horror breaks off into so many genres that I've kind of just made up my own. So there are some that I consider more of a sci-fi horror. There are some that I consider a dark comedy horror. There are drama horrors, slow burn horrors. There are just all sorts of different subgenres that I think that movies fall into, and this one definitely to me was more of a sci-fi horror genre, in the sense that it does have a lot of dark humor, but it is a lot more action than scary, in my opinion. You don't really think about jump scares or things like that when it comes to a movie like this. It's more like the gore is coming, you just don't know when. So you're kind of already set up with the storyline out of the gate. When you watch the trailer and you read what the movie's about, you already know the big surprise of everything, which is that Abigail herself is a vampire, which is great. And again, when it comes to these things, I do look at a couple of different aspects when it comes to judging a movie and what I feel about it. So one of those things is the trailer test. Did I feel like the trailer spoiled it, gave too much, oversold the movie? Did it overhype it? Just how do I feel the trailer compared to the actual experience of watching the movie? So I definitely think in this one, the trailer did it justice. It was a good movie, but it didn't give away too much. It did definitely give some of the better moments away. However, it still didn't spoil it overall for me. There was still enough humor that didn't go shown in the trailer that I felt it was still good. So for me, it definitely passed the trailer test. I think that it lived up to the trailer. The trailer did not oversell it to me. I feel like it perfectly packaged exactly what the movie is and gave you a good expectation to what you're going to watch in the film. Another one of the ones that I do is a scary versus story ratio. Did one outweigh the other? Was there too much of one? And how did it pan out in pacing of the movie? So for me, this one in particular, and for my husband as well, there was a little too much story to scary. So, and again, this is one that I consider more of a sci-fi thriller / horror, because although it's got a lot of gore in it, it definitely is not one that is something that would scare you, or at least not me. And again, this is my whole opinion, so you may feel different, and the way that you judge what a horror movie is versus what's not may be in a whole different realm than mine. But for me, for something to be considered horror, it needs to scare me. It needs to be where I don't want to watch it late at night by myself. It needs to be where those things kind of creep into my head and stay there, and then I get freaked out when I'm alone at night or hear a noise in the house and no one else is here. So that's how I consider a straight up horror movie versus one of the other subgenres that I categorize movies into. So for this one, I definitely found it to be more of a sci-fi one, like I mentioned before. But because of that, I just feel like in the beginning, they definitely go a lot more into the story and the way the characters, are joining together and their storylines than it really needs to. There's just kind of, with this type of movie and it being mostly action oriented and more about the main little girl character, we really didn't need to get to know the other characters all that much for you to really understand or get the jokes or the stuff that comes later. So I do think that they went a little too much that route in the beginning, and they probably could have cut out a good 30 minutes of the movie in the beginning in order for it to get to the point and get to the action parts a lot sooner. And because of that, it does start to feel like it's dragging somewhere in the middle. Which leads me to my next point, which is another one of the things I include in my movie reviews, is did it pass the husband sleep test? So my husband definitely has to be engaged by a movie, and if he's not, you're going to lose him, and he is definitely going to fall asleep. It does not matter if we are in the most expensive seats there are. My husband is very particular about what will keep his attention and keep him awake versus what won't. It's kind of like when you're on a computer and the computer times out because there's not enough happening and it just kind of goes to sleep. Same exact thing with my husband. So with this particular movie, it did not pass the test. It failed. So in the middle, somewhere about an hour mark, I would say, into the movie, husband just total snooze fest. He went to sleep, and I actually had to nudge him a couple of times because he was starting to snore to where everybody would probably start to hear it if I didn't. So definitely did not pass that test. And later when I asked him about it and asked him why he felt like he fell asleep, he very bluntly told me it just took too long to get to the point. It was too slow in the beginning, and so in the middle, I just felt like there was nothing else for me to watch, so I just went to sleep. Yeah, definitely failed the sleep test. So if you have a spouse or a significant other or your movie buddy that goes to watch with you is a lot like my husband and won't stay awake if they're not fully engaged, they may fall asleep. Just putting it out there. Would I rewatch and buy this film once it comes out on home release? I definitely would. So although my husband falls asleep, I still enjoyed the movie the whole way. I don't fall asleep for movies, so it was not an issue for me. And honestly, at home, if I want to, I can just fast forward 30 minutes ahead and then start watching. So I enjoyed Alisha Weir, the main character's performance, so much that I would absolutely watch this again. She just does such a spectacular job, and the range of her acting in this movie was just so great and spot on that it's definitely worth rewatching. And I definitely think that her character, Abigail in general, is going to be one of those that goes into the horror canon. Just like, the Megan doll, Universal, had in that movie and then introduced into the Halloween Horror Nights recently. Move over, Megan, because Abigail is here, and I definitely saw that somewhere as the title, and I love that, and it is absolutely spot on. Abigail was just a fun character. I can definitely see a lot of people recreating her look when she's like the bloody ballerina as a Halloween costume. I even am tempted to do that at some point because it was just such a great image, and she just does such a good job at being this total kick butt murdering ballerina vampire. So absolutely loved her in this and loved the performance so much that I definitely think this is a total rewatch and buy when it comes out. Changes I would make to the plot, if any. So for this one, like I said, I just think that the characters that are, involved when it comes to the kidnapping or whatever happens with Abigail that kind of leads into the story. We don't really need to know all that much about them. So with that being said, I would definitely cut out some of those beginning aspects of it, and maybe even just have it to where it goes into once they've already kidnapped her or something along that line, because it just really, we didn't really need that extra 30 minutes. I think that just could have been cut out altogether, but that's just my opinion. But that's going to be it for this review of Abigail. I would highly recommend watching it, if for no other reason, just to see the main actress, Alisha Weir's performance. She's amazing in it. Definitely worth watching for that alone, because she does such a great job. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments, if you're going to watch this movie, if you've already watched it, what you thought about it, what you rated it, and if there's anything in particular you think I'm missing in these reviews that you would like to see. Definitely let me know below. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not subscribed, please hit that like and subscribe and notification bell, so that way I can continue to come out with content that you will see. And thanks again so much for watching, guys. Bye.